August 1986. In the small fishing community of Crescent City, Northern California, the summer was ending. Shrimp boat captain Red Dixon's 3 sons would soon be back in school, and there was only time for them to go on one last fishing trip with their father.
They sure are.
When Red arrived at his former wife Pamela's house, his boys looked forward to 4 days at sea.
So you decided Caleb can come with us?
All right, let him go, Mom. He wants to go real bad.
Well, I guess. Go get your things packed. So now you'll have them back by Saturday because you're just going to fish out front, right?
Yeah, we're just going to be closed from 2 or 3 days.
I often think about when they took off from the house. I remember our words, especially Caleb, because he was only 6 years old.
Take all your clothes. Let's leave some here. Okay, now you remember and be very careful, okay? And don't go out on the back deck by yourself.
It was very lighthearted that morning. You know, we're all saying goodbye, you know, we'll see you in a couple of days.
Bye, boys.
They were so excited about getting to go with Dad. I mean, it was really a treat for them. But as the car disappeared around the corner, I had this real fearful feeling, you know, overcome me. And at the time, I was questioning it, you know, and I thought, well, it's because this is the first time that I've allowed Caleb to go alone on the boat without all of us being there, you know, with him.
Red was captain of a 20-year-old shrimp boat named the Liebling. Besides Red, it was crewed by Mike Gergen, an experienced shrimper. On this trip, Red's boys, 18-year-old Rusty, 14-year-old Jason, and 6-year-old Caleb, were accompanied by their Springer Spaniel. Everyone on board looked forward to an enjoyable time at sea. The Liebling left the harbor in Crescent City at dawn and headed north to fish off Cape Blanco, Oregon, accompanied by 2 other boats. The sea was unusually calm. The elements seemed to be cooperating to ensure an uneventful voyage. But the elements can be deceptive. Sometime during the night of August 27th, 1986, the Liebling disappeared. Although they had radio equipment on board, no distress signals were broadcast. She was simply there one moment and gone the next. In the 2 years since her disappearance, no evidence has surfaced to explain the Liebling's fate. The family and friends of those on board have no idea what happened to their loved ones. Somehow not knowing is the worst part of all. On the morning of August 27th, when the Liebling didn't answer radio calls, a visual search was conducted. Strangely, the vessel was nowhere to be found. By 10 a.m., the Coast Guard had been brought in. They found no evidence that the Liebling had sunk.
When a boat like the Liebling sinks, if it has 5,000 to 17,000 gallons of diesel fuel on it, you can see that slick for miles on the water. And there was no slick, there was no oil leakage, there was no debris from the boat like wooden boxes, net floats, or anything that we could find. And there was a shore search that went on, there was an air search that went on, and a sea search that went on. And we found no evidence that the Liebling actually sank. And so it came to mind that quite possibly that Red Dixon had decided to go back to Columbia and take the boys with him.
For the last year and a half, Red had been living and fishing in Columbia and had recently remarried. He was planning to start a second family there. Could Red have taken the Liebling and his 3 sons to South America?
I really don't feel like this was the possibility because he was more than welcome to come and visit the kids or, you know, take them with him anytime he wanted.
While it is conceivable that Red might have abducted his children, it is unlikely that First Mate Mike Gergen would have left his family behind.
My husband was right in the middle, and they would have had to have killed him because he would have not have gone along. He's got 3 children of his own. He wouldn't run off with him. There would be no motive.
Red and I was alone the last night. We stayed on the Liebling till 2 o'clock in the morning, and we just sat and talked about just life in general. And I know if Red was going to do that he'd say something about, well, if you don't hear from me, don't worry about it for a while, or something. I wish I could believe that he is happily in Columbia, but there's too many things that proves that he isn't.
The night before the Liebling vanished, D.J. Cole, a fisherman sailing with the Liebling about 5 miles behind, talked to Mike Gergen on the radio. Mike told him to beware of a tugboat in the area.
DJ, keep an eye out. You got a tug and a barge coming your way.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep an eye out here for it.
If the Liebling was hit by that barge, the tug probably wouldn't even know it got hit. It would go under in seconds. The weight ratio is so different that it would be like hitting a log, or it'd be like bowling over a matchbook.
If the Liebling had collided with a barge, why was no debris found on the ocean's surface? One afternoon, a fisherman named Troy Voigt might have run into the only major clue to the Liebling's fate. One day in September of 1987, his net snagged on an obstruction 700 feet below the surface. An experienced fisherman, Voigt is certain that the object had not been there prior to the Liebling's disappearance. They went back to the spot later, and this time took a video camera along.
About a month later, we were back in the same area, and we hung up again on the same obstruction. And when we got loose, we had a net hanging off our net, and this was a shrimp net. It occurred to me at that time that the Liebling had gone down in that summer, and that very well could be what the boat was, or the object that was on the bottom. At that point, I knew it had to be a boat because of the net and the fact that it was such a solid object on an area that was generally clean.
There's the shrimp net we caught. See, if I can get a close-up here, you can see how small the mesh is there.
I've looked at the net since then, and it was the spare net off the Liebling. I mean, we sold him the net off the boat that I worked on.
Does the Liebling lie 700 feet below the ocean surface? The icy, turbulent waters of the North Pacific prevented a close examination of the ocean floor.
It just seems like your hope stays on there a lot until you have some proof of what happened.
The sea almost seems to be willfully hiding the real story about what happened to the Liebling on that August night. Until it decides to give up its secret, then the last voyage of the Liebling will remain a story with no ending. Red Dixon, Mike Gergen, and Red's 3 young boys. Where could they be? If anyone has any new information concerning the Liebling's disappearance, please call our toll-free number, 1-800-876-5353.